There's this entire world, this bustling, intricate world that's happening all around us, all the time. It's just beneath our feet, shimmering almost invisibly in the air. From a tiny speck in the soil to a flash of color over a pond, we are absolutely surrounded by a hidden kingdom.
So if I asked you to picture the most common animal on Earth, you might think of, I don't know, a bird or a mammal. But what if I told you that's not even close? Nope, the vast majority of animals are these incredible, often overlooked invertebrates. They are, without a doubt, the true rulers of the animal kingdom, and they're fundamental to life as we know it.
So who are these armored architects, and why are they so dang essential? Well, that's what we're going to dive into. Let's get to know them by cracking open their biological blueprints, exploring their incredible variety, and uncovering the vital jobs they do that keep our planet running. Okay, so let's start with the basics. What exactly makes an arthropod? Well, an arthropod. Turns out their name, which comes from Greek, holds a pretty big clue. Right, so arthropods are invertebrates. That just means they don't have a backbone like we do. But what they do have is this incredible design that's let them conquer pretty much every corner of the planet. And it all comes down to 3 ingenious features that define their body plan. So what's the winning formula? First up, a hard exoskeleton. Think of it like a custom-fit suit of armor made from this super tough material called chitin. Then you have a segmented body, where different sections can be specialized for different jobs. And finally, the feature that gives them their name, jointed legs, or arthropod. These give them incredible mobility. And actually, that external skeleton is a big reason why most arthropods are small. Imagine trying to carry around a giant suit of armor. It would just be too heavy.
And this basic body plan, this winning formula, has been tweaked and adapted into 4 huge groups that you'll absolutely recognize. You've got the 6-legged insects, everything from bees to butterflies. Then there are the 8-legged arachnids, like your spiders and scorpions. In the water, you'll find the crustaceans, so think crabs and lobsters. And crawling on the forest floor, you have the myriapods, which include centipedes and millipedes.
It's wild, right? The sheer diversity just within one of these groups is mind-boggling. So to really get a feel for this scale, let's zoom in and meet a few all-stars from the insect world, starting with the order that just blows all the others away in terms of numbers.
Yeah, just look at that number, 350,000.
And that's just the species we've found so far. We're talking about beetles here, the order Calera. This makes them the single largest order of insects on the entire planet. It's not even close. And their scientific name, Coleoptera, actually tells you their secret. It literally means sheath-winged. It's talking about their most famous feature, those hard front wings, the elytra. They aren't for flying. They're a protective shield covering the delicate flight wings underneath. It's built-in armor, and it's a huge key to their success. But don't let that armor fool you into thinking they're just simple little tanks. Some of these guys show some seriously sophisticated behavior. For instance, get this. Certain dung beetles actually navigate using the stars, the light from the Milky Way. They use it as a cosmic compass to roll their prize in a straight line away from competitors. Astounding, right?
Okay, so moving from the ground up into the air. Who are the real masters of the sky? Well, I'll tell you, the dragonflies and damselflies from the order Odonata, they have a really strong claim.
I mean, these things are perfectly designed aerial hunters. Their giant compound eyes give them nearly 360-degree vision. Their 2 pairs of wings, they can beat independently. That means they can hover, fly backwards, and pull off hairpin turns like a fighter jet. Even as aquatic nymphs, they're ruthless predators. And their name, Odonata, actually means toothed ones for their powerful jaws.
And all that hunting skill makes them super important for the environment. They're basically one of nature's best forms of pest control, gobbling up things like mosquitoes both in the water and in the air. That's why if you see a lot of dragonflies around, it's a great sign you've got a healthy, clean, freshwater ecosystem. All right, now let's talk about maybe the most celebrated insects of all, butterflies and moths. Their scientific name is Lepidoptera, which means scale-winged. And that right there is the secret to their beauty. Those stunning colors we see aren't pigments in the wing itself. They're created by the light reflecting off thousands of tiny overlapping scales. It's like a mosaic.
And of course, they're famous for their incredible life cycle. It's one of nature's greatest magic tricks, right? It all starts with an egg, usually laid on a very specific plant. Then it hatches into the larva, the caterpillar, which is basically just an eating machine bulking up. Then it enters the pupa stage, hidden away in a chrysalis or cocoon, where the real transformation happens. And finally, the winged adult emerges, ready to fly and pollinate.
Okay, so we've met a few amazing examples, but let's zoom back out for a second. What happens when you add up the work of all these millions of different species? What you get is a global workforce doing jobs that are absolutely critical for life on Earth to even work.
Yeah, their collective impact is just staggering. They are our most important pollinators, they're decomposers, basically nature's own recycling crew breaking down waste. They're pest controllers, keeping other populations in check. And they're a foundational food source for countless other animals. They're at the bottom of so many food webs.
And if you want to understand the sheer scale of just one of those jobs, just look at this number, 75%. That's how many of the world's flowering plants rely on animal pollinators.
So what does that mean? Well, here's why that number should matter to you, personally. That 75% represents about 3/4 of the crops we rely on for food. I'm talking about everything from your morning coffee to apples and almonds. All of it depends on healthy pollinators, and the vast majority of those are these insects.
Which brings us to a really critical and, honestly, a pretty concerning point. These vital, planet-shaping architects, they're in trouble. They're facing a whole host of silent, interconnected threats.
So, what's the problem? Why are we hearing so much about insect and arthropod populations declining? Well, the issues are complex, they're widespread, and they're affecting pretty much all the groups we've just talked about. They're really facing a multi-front assault. You've got habitat loss from farming and cities getting bigger. You've got pollution in their water and soil. Then there's pesticide use, which can harm the good guys just as much as the pests. And on top of all that, you have climate change messing with their life cycles and invasive species moving in and out, outcompeting them for what's left.
So let's end on this thought. After seeing their incredible design, their mind-boggling diversity, and the enormous essential work they do for all of us, the next time you see a bug, a beetle on the sidewalk, a dragonfly near a pond, a bee buzzing on a flower, are you just going to see a pest, or are you going to see what it really is? A tiny, hard-working, planet-shaping architect.